Hello one and all, and welcome back to Factorio Let's Play. In today's episode, we will be going over red science production and finish setting up our copper production and smelting. Since the last episode, I've added a couple more things in, and we'll see those here in a second. Alright, so I'm just going to zoom out, kind of show you what I did off camera a little bit. I switched out our burner mining and furnaces to electric mining drills and obviously routed the power. I also went through and mined out that of trees so I would stop running into them, as I just did there. And our furnaces aren't actually fully operational yet. We don't have the technology to grab from the middle row. I forgot about this when starting, and I've also added coal mining and electricity. So we're actually going to get that sorted out before we finish up with the other column. Now the great thing about putting this onto a main bus like we will be doing is that you can run along here and hold F and you'll actually just collect the materials as you go. So a couple things we're going to need for research. This is actually pretty simple. So red research actually is the simplest research to do next to purple science. Or as I will call them, I usually name them by colors. They have specific names: Science Pack 1, Science Pack 2, 3, and 4, and so on. So red Science Packs just take one copper plate and an iron gear wheel. This is actually pretty easily crafted in your inventory. You'll notice when I start it here, I'm going to do 20 for now. You'll notice the gears craft really fast, but the science is actually semi-slow. And that's just the way it's set up. It's actually more set. Things are set up so that you automate them yourself, so it goes faster for you. So we're also going to need a research lab. Now the research lab is what you put the science into to actually do research on. Just checking our power network here real quick. So once that science lab is built, we will be ready to go with science. I'm just going to open up the tech tree for you here. Now in the 13 update, they have changed the research tree. They've actually added a couple of things, and we'll get into those as we go. The main ones for now, though, are going to be a couple that I really feel that we're going to need first up. The first one is going to be automation. This allows us to build production facilities and these long-handled inserters, which is what I need right now for being able to grab the coal off the center line. The second one that I like doing is going to be the splitter, fast inserter, and underground belt technology. These allow me to merge belts, split belts, and then get faster inserters so that our production rate increases. And then we'll probably also be wanting turrets, since I did notice that we are near the desert. We'll be probably under attack pretty soon here, so we're going to want to get that. Stone walls take red science, and basic stone wall, I'll show you how to craft those. Probably in the next episode we'll be getting more into military technology. Steel is a very important resource early game. Unlock steel chests, which hold a lot more than the wood and the iron chests. And then we have steel pickaxes. These are twice as efficient as the iron pickaxes, so you do stuff twice as fast. And then military technology. Obviously, you get shotgun shells, and the submachine gun. Submachine gun I really like. It's a good early game tree clear. And then you obviously can unlock armor as well. The light armor I usually don't build, just because at that point I usually have steel production and I can just go in and craft the heavy armor pretty easily. Landfill is a new one that they're adding in. It allows you to fill in the land at the site. I don't really like that feature of the game per se, but a lot of people were asking for it, so they've decided to put it in now. Another thing I'm going to build really quick in the combat tab, I'm going to want a radar, and that'll produce after the labs and everything. Also, you'll notice since I'm not on a multiplayer server, every time I open this, the game actually pauses. Accidentally hit the G key there. I have yet to find out what that does. Still kind of a beginner when it comes to this game. I am going to be adding those two mods in probably in the next episode. I still haven't gotten around to it. I'm sorry, guys. But we'll be getting this tree collision out of here and adding a light circle so y'all can actually see what I'm doing in the dark. And it's just two simple mods. It's going to be the more light mod. It adds a circular ring, basically about this big around the character. Just allows you to see at night a little better. Really great for recording, mainly because of YouTube's compression rates. It kind of messes them up. So I just saw the red signs start finishing, so our lab should be built here in a second. That will require power. I usually just place this wherever at the start. You don't really necessarily need it in any place in particular when you're starting. You just need it to get those base researches done so you can start your production. So we're going to go ahead and place that here. It prompts you immediately after you put down that first one what you want to do. Let's go for the long-handed inserter so we can get our production rolling. So we're going to need to manually do this for right now. Just put those signs back in and we're good to go. You can't queue up research yet, but I do notice that this is going to take 20 and it takes 10 signs for the first one. So I'm going to go ahead and make 10 more while we are busy doing stuff. I think I am going to need a bit more copper though. Nope, actually need iron. It's like, okay, and we're going to need a little bit of copper, evidently. Compared to our one solitary copper furnace, I probably should have put more. I just didn't get around to it. Gonna craft 10 more of those. Now, okay, so here's how this is gonna work once I have these next two researches done. I'm gonna end up splitting this belt probably about here, and I'm just gonna prepare it for that really quick. So I'll split it here. And then, so since all the materials on this side, we want the splitter to be on this side. That way we can loop the material back in on itself, and it basically doubles up the belt. That way, when it's also grabbing from the other side here, and when it splits, there will be enough to go all the way down the line because it'll be doubled up. As we can see, automation is finishing up pretty fast. These first researches really don't take that long if you want to count it out. 10 times 10, 100 seconds for one lab. Now, I usually go with the 10 lab setup, and we'll probably be covering production here pretty closely in this episode. Alright, now that that's all finished, we can start work on logistics so that we get the splitters and everything. Let's throw that in. Run that extra 10 sites. Get some more iron going. And I'm going to pop down my radar right here. Now, the radar, as you can see in the right-hand side, tells you who it's built by. Energy consumption is huge early game on these. So be careful with building too many. I know some players do this because they want to expand the map really fast, but then they have power issues up front. And I don't like slowing down my factory just to scan out the map. If I really wanted to go scan out the map, I could go walk the border really quick and we'd see what was around us. Now, you'll you'll notice this is actually using almost as much as 13 mining drills right now, which is crazy insane production-wise. But you can see since I set up those 10 boilers, we're perfectly fine with just one. You'll notice the little sector scanning progress. That's how long, if you look at your map, so it just scanned that one. Once it scans a new sector, another little blip will pop up, and then it'll just rotate its way around the map as it goes, slowly uncovering the whole thing. So in about 15 minutes or so, we'll check back on the map, and you can see where it's gone. Actually, it just went, it lights up for a little bit where it showed, and then darkens, and then it'll do the next one, and then the next one. Alright, so long-handed inserter. These aren't that hard to make. Takes one regular inserter, an iron gear, and an iron plate. So automation really doesn't come into play much early like this. You basically handcraft everything. Now there are some players that rush that lab and only handcraft a couple of things and then completely automate their factory. I kind of go for a slower setup per se. There are a lot faster ways to do this. I've seen a couple of videos of people speedrunning this game in 2 hours, and my mind is like completely blown as to how they're doing it that fast. But they have definitely a lot more practice than I have. Picked up this game kind of as a recommendation from a friend, so we'll get back to that later. And I have 20, so I just right click that 4 times and it's making. Logistics about halfway finished, which is great. That means we can start crafting our splitters and everything, and I need to put more fuel in this. These things always run out, I swear. Alright, back to work. As you can see, our coal line's completely full because it's not really pulling anything off. So the setup that I go with, I usually put a power pole every one, but you don't necessarily need to do that. Again, make sure flat side is on that belt. With these long-handed, they actually go across 3 tiles. So 1, 2, 3, then place it here. And what you'll notice about inserters is they always place on the outside of the belt from them. They can take from either side, but they always place on the outside. So we're just going to go put these in real quick. And this should start up with the coal and everything. And then the other side will get going once we put the splitter on there. Alright, still waiting for splitters to finish up. Man, I cannot talk today. It's getting kind of late. I'm usually going to be recording these in blocks of like 3 to 4, and that's really just to make the process easier on me, mainly because I like the workflow of doing it. I've been playing for about 3 hours now for these 3 videos, and that's just with standby time and messing around. So back to this, as you can see, our coal production is still going to be good. And if you look in here, you'll actually notice that one had wood, but this one has coal. It's not actually adding the full 50 amount, and it'll do this. It's basically like when it'll only put in double the amount of coal that it needs. So this one is 5, and it'll put in 2 copper so that it smelts properly. But when it's full like that, it'll stop. So our research just finished for logistics, and now we can pop up onto the next one. Let's go. Do I want steel? I could either get filter inserters, which actually allow me to pick what I put in there. We could go to turrets or steel processing. I'm actually going to go with turrets because I don't know what's out there right now. I did set the area on big, but as of the 13 update, the aliens tend to creep in a lot faster than they did in the 12 update. So I'm going to get this all set up. Get that researched. I actually did not put the power connection cable at the end of that one, so that side was offline. Not that it really matters, because I don't have the lines running yet. So, splitters. Go ahead and make 5 of those. Make 20 of those. Now, setting up your hotbar wire. Eventually, you'll get 2 stacks in here, but you can middle mouse click like that, and it'll actually set a blue background behind it, and now that filters it from being able to be used by any other item. See, it didn't go in there, but I can put that item in there, and anytime that item is put in your inventory from a chest or whatever it may be, it will not remove whatever item is there from that spot. Now, we're going to put a splitter in this. The way splitters work is they split the belt halfway, so half goes this way, half goes that way. Keeps the belts even. Now, we're going to go back at the start of the video. You notice I put that one there. Just going to delete this guy. So then this half and half splits, and then it half and half splits onto both. And we'll probably want to speed this up pretty soon. It's probably not going to be nearly enough iron for what we're going to be needing with our production. And with that, we also got assembling machines, which are assembling machines are going to allow us to build red science, which I'm going to do a little basic setup. I don't have the copper smelting set up yet, but I will be getting to that between this episode and the next, and then I will add that to our production line. Since we just got underground belts, I'm going to show you how those work. And as you saw, I usually do this, and as I upgrade the belt styles, there are upgraded belts, and those allow you to do different. Basically, go faster. I'm gonna go ahead and oops. Gonna do that. And then underground belts work same as underground pipes, and as you see, that splits that evenly, coming from both furnaces onto the one belt. And I'm going to make our main line go up, so we're just going to go up with this puppy. We have a nice long thing to grab from. The other thing I am actually going to go ahead and show you how to do is set up a buffer box. Now, what buffer boxes do, because this is going to fill up very fast, so this is a good early on setup point to do this under. I'm going to actually want fast inserters on this, otherwise they're going to be way too slow for what I need to actually do. So, fast inserters work almost triple the speed, I believe, of the regular inserters. So what I did on the corner here is this one will take iron from this right here, put it in this chest, and if this belt is full, this one will pick one up, but it'll only hold it there until this empties out. So basically what this does is this box will fill up completely, but if this line ever runs out, it will put that extra that's in the box back on the belt so that production can continue if we ever lose our supply of iron. Now this is something you want to watch. Some people will put an extra one out that's a personal grab one. I usually don't do that, just because I'm always keeping attention on my iron, on my coal, on my everything. So I can make sure that we have enough of each to sustain. Even if that requires like me building a train somewhere to go get more iron kind of thing, I make sure I have enough iron at all times to be able to expand my operation there. I'm going to do copper really quick, just going to do a simple setup. gonna do 10 on the copper for now. Actually gonna run this one off a different coal source as well. Let's see, do I got electric mining drills right? I do not. Let me go grab some more copper actually, funnily enough. Plenty of iron in my inventory. I'll go ahead and grab a bunch of those. We're definitely going to need them later game. I'm usually running about 140 to 200 mining drills at any one time in my factories. That's just because the production I need to keep up with my output. Now, I could do other things with modules at that point, but I don't really like using modules, like I said, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Just waiting these to finish crafting basically, and we'll go ahead and just take this out. And click that, and that will pop these guys down. Notice I just shift clicked it, and it shifted both of those in and out. Clear this out a little bit so I can fit an extra one on here. Just gonna do 5 for right now. That should be enough for our thing. Transport, so gotta build up a little bit. And I'm quitting these in 5 just in case I need to cancel it for some odd reason. Usually I don't have to, it's not really an issue, but if I need to emergency build something that happens. You'll notice that these auto-placed as I was going, so basically if you hold down your mouse button, they will auto-place themselves once they are too far away from each other. We got our copper going now. Got enough belts to continue. And now we're going to have to process this belt, so we switch over to underground belt. And I'm just keeping this really simple. Doesn't need to be crazy, anything like that. The simpler the better, in my opinion, honestly. Don't like making things too complicated, as you can probably see. Have that insert going in there. Again, I'm going to split this line so we can get double the copper across. You really need to do this on these slow lines. And that is mainly because they are so slow. It might not make it to the end of the production chain unless there's 2 built up on each side. There's some things we can do to fix that, and I'll probably highlight those a little bit later, but I'm going to finish setting this thing up real quick. And being kind of lazy, instead of piping it from my different coal ones, just going to add another coal block here, and that'll mine that out so that we can expand copper production in the future. These power poles do not look that pretty, but oh well. And these again I place between every single furnace. I'm going to do the same on this side, and that basically gives it access enough to split that so that all of the inserts can work. So I need to make some and now I'm just basically waiting on stuff to craft. Shouldn't take too long though. In the meantime, I'm going to connect up my power. And there we go, power's all connected, so that'll start pulling through. Those will pull through, and we're good to go. Just placing in the last of the inserters. As you can see, I misplaced that. Just hold that right click button to get rid of that. Again, needing more inserters. Sorry for the quiet so much, guys. It's getting kind of late and my throat's getting kind of dry, so probably going to finish up my recording session after this episode. Just going to finish setting up the copper production and then get into basic red science production, and we'll end it after that probably. Alright, so that's all set up. I'm just going to put my copper belt. This one's going to be pretty easy to do. Just need to craft a few more transport. I carry this one over longer because I don't feel like messing with it. Go ahead and do that, just to make this transition a little easier for what I want to do. I don't actually want to put a splitter on this. If I don't have to, splitters are kind of expensive early game. Let's just rotate that around. Now it's on both sides. Now, I usually do not recommend doing this, but since we're just starting and I'm just kind of showing you how to do this, I'm going to take 2 production labs. I'm just going to start with a one thing so that we can get some research going into our science lab. I need to go grab that really quick actually. You'll notice that if you run along belts, it's actually a little bit faster if you go with the belt. If you go against it, you're about 40% slow. And then once you add in bricks, concrete, and that, you do get movement bonuses plus that of the belt. So we're going to grab a bit more material wise so that we can get this all set and squared away. Okay, now crafting bench wise, I place these one apart so that I can put a couple inserters between. Gotta wait for this to craft real quick. But usually what I do is I'll put a splitter off and then split it, and then like with this one I could split both down the middle and have one thing produce go into the other factory. So for assembling machines, you just click on it to open it up. This one we're going to want red science, so copper and iron. And then factories, unlike your inventory, you actually have to craft the parts and put them in, so we're going to want gear. Alright, and the gears are going to go into the science, and the science is just going to go directly into our lab for right now. Makes it super easy. All we need to do, grab that, and we're good. Just plug up the power now. And it's working away, so it makes those gear wheels. Gear wheels go into here. And I forgot the copper. Now again, this is just a basic setup. In between videos, I'll actually improve it and show you how I set up my science lab. But that'll be all for today. This is the end of my recording session for this time around. So you'll probably be seeing this video come out on Thursday or Friday. Not really sure yet. I'll decide a little bit later on when I upload it. So I wish everyone a good day, and this has been Chattanooga 262 with Factorio Let's Play. Have a good one, guys.